Good morning and a very warm welcome to everyone present here. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you to Prarambh 2026, the orientation program of the incoming MBA cohort of 2026-28 at IFMR GSB Krea University. To our distinguished chief guest, respected faculty, staff members, and most importantly, our incoming cohort, welcome to the IFMR community. Today marks the start of more than an academic program. It marks the beginning of a new journey filled with opportunities, learning, and growth.
Over the next 2 years, this campus will become a place where ideas are exchanged, friendships are built, and futures take shape. Prarambh has been designed to help you transition into a new phase by introducing you to a life at IFMR GSB, its academics, its culture, and vibrant student community.
Each of you bring unique experiences and aspirations. And from today, you begin this journey together as one cohort. We encourage you to stay curious, participate actively, and make the most of every opportunity ahead.
On behalf of Team Genesis and the entire IFMR GSB community, I, Divyanshu,
And I, Sanjukta, together will be your hosts for today. Once again, welcome to Prarambh 2026 and welcome to the beginning of an exciting MBA journey.
we will now move to the lighting of the lamp, a timeless tradition that symbolizes the dispelling of ignorance and the pursuit of knowledge. We request our chief guest, Ms. Subhashi Sriram, MD and CEO of Sriram Capital, our Dean, Professor Lakshmi Kumar, MBA Chairperson, Dr. Satya Saminathan, Director of Education and Student Experience, Ms. Amanjeet Kaur Ahuja, and representatives from the Student Council and Team Genesis to kindly come forward and light the lamp.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. We hope that this light guides each one of you through your years at IFMR GSB and long after. To set the tone for this new chapter and welcome the incoming cohort into the IFMR community, we have with us Dr. Satya Saminathan. Sir holds the MBA program chair and brings 23 years of rich experience across industry and academia, and holds a PhD in marketing specializing in e-commerce. Over the course of his career, he has seamlessly bridged corporate leadership and academic scholarship, bringing practical depth in the classroom and research insight into industry engagements. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you to Prarambh 2026, the formal inauguration for the MBA program at IFMR Graduate School of Business, Krea University. On behalf of the Prarambh organizers, I'd like to extend my warm welcome to the MBA batch 2026-2028, and also their parents who would be watching this in live on YouTube, our own faculty members who are here, the staff members of Krea University, and all the partners of IFMR GSB. Welcome. A special, very special welcome to our respected chief guest, Ms. Subhashri Sriram, Managing Director and CEO of Sriram Capital, whose remarkable leadership journey and contribution to the financial services is an inspiration to all the professionals across the country. Ma'am, we are deeply honored to have you here. I extend a warm welcome to our Dean, Dr. Lakshmi Kumar, and also all the senior members of Krea University who are present here. I also extend my warm welcome to all the staff members who are here. So the word Prarambh means beginning. It's not just the beginning of a new academic year or not just the beginning of a new academic program. It's a beginning of new friendships, beginning of new challenges, new ideas. Beyond that, I would probably say it's a beginning of a new way of thinking. MBA is often associated with career, CTC, placements, growth. While I agree that all these are important, I also personally feel the value of MBA lies elsewhere. In the next 2 years, folks, you will certainly be analyzing the problem in a given situation, probably making decisions with some incomplete data, working with people from diverse background, solving a case study which was not being solved by others, communicate your ideas effectively, or probably leading a team very responsibly. And I believe that these qualities are going to stay with you for a very long time, even after a couple of years you complete this program. At IFMR GSB, you will certainly be meeting outstanding and eminent professors, their pragmatic pedagogy, very intense and rigorous curriculum, industry-oriented subjects, environment programs, case studies, all these. But how are you going to make use of it depends on your curiosity, depends on your dedication and willingness to learn. So that attitude is very vital. The learning will not only come from the professors alone. I would like to tell you that the learning would probably come from your peers as well, your seniors, your alumni, the guest speakers, guest lecturers who are going to turn up to the campus in the coming days, also from your own successes and your failures. I can certainly promise you one thing today. You have become a part of the ecosystem where the values are academic excellence, integrity, relevance, and also being adaptive. So I encourage each one of you who are sitting here to participate actively, ask questions if there are assumptions, embrace diversity, and make every bit of the opportunity that comes on your way. Before I conclude, I'd like to thank everyone who have worked very hard for this Prarambh 2026 to happen. To start off with, Office of Student Life, work day in and day out to make this occasion very special. I would like to thank the MBA office who worked very hard. I would also like to thank all the support staff who helped us in running this program very well, all these days. And of course, the faculty members who have helped us during this journey. And last but definitely not the least, the students committee that helped us, especially the student council and Genesis, helped us in a very, very intense way to make sure that the Prarambh 2026 happens successfully. So once again, I extend a heartfelt welcome to our new students and their family members. We are delighted to have you here. And we are also thankful, IFMR Graduate School of Business is thankful because you have chosen us as a part of your exciting journey. All the very best and happy Prarambh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words, especially pointing out how diverse students can use their vast opportunities and learning to be industry ready. We will now hear from the Dean of IFMR GSB, Professor Lakshmi Kumar. Having been in the institution since January 2000, she has held several administrative positions, including MBA chair, PhD chair, EMBA chair, and alumni chair at the institution before assuming the office of the Dean. She handles microeconomics, managerial economics, international business, microfinance, and entrepreneurship, both at the business school as well as in management development programs from corporate to the government. Over to you, ma'am.
It really fills me up with immense joy to see so many of you choosing IFMR GSB as your chosen MBA destination. So a very, very warm welcome to every student who have joined us in the MBA program, as well as the 4 PhD students who have again reposed faith in us and joined our program. So welcome to all of you, first of all. Welcome, why I would say that is, these are very difficult and trying times. The last 1 or 2 years, particularly the last 1 year, you must have heard that probably MBA is not a great choice. And still you have reposed faith in us and come here and joined us. We are an institution who don't set targets and numbers, and we don't insist that the entire batch has to be filled up. What we look for is students whom we think will suit our culture, our ethical beliefs, and take it forward from there. I'm sure most of you would have been guided by your coaching institutions saying that if it's finance, maybe you should go to IFMR GSB. But let me take a step backward and let me talk about our placements itself. In this world, in the last 2 to 3 years that we have found, most of the institutions are floundering in terms of placement. And why? That's why we are unique and we are different. So to really elucidate that point, I would say that our placement team works very closely with the corporates, such that we understand what we need to give into the students' curriculum. So our curriculum has developed in such a manner that we have corporates along with faculty teaching you. We've understood from the corporates what kind of skills are essential such that you will be in a good position to get a good job. So from the way I look at it, and the way I look at the last 4 years of students, the first year was very easy when I was the dean, where the corporates came and lapped on the students. They wanted people. Today, they only want to take people who they are sure has some skills that match their requirement. So what is it that you have to do in your MBA class so that you would be ready to take on the corporate? Without doubt, you have to skill up. You have to skill up in every single subject, and particularly the area that you choose. You have to skill up in a manner such that you learn both theory and practice. And so you would ask, what have you done about that? What have we done? Every elective course has a corporate teaching along with the faculty, such that all courses have both a theoretical as well as a practical spin, and the skill is up to you to take it on. The second thing we have done, and you must have heard a lot in the last 1 year, AI is replacing entry-level jobs. To an extent, AI is posing to be a competition. But what I would say of AI, having interacted with several corporates, is that it's very important that whatever you choose, you need to get domain knowledge in it. And unless you have the domain knowledge, you can't use AI to make your solution better. A simple example is, I spoke to a person who just passed out and who writes code, and he said, I gave instructions about writing a code for something very simple, 10 lines of code, and gave it to Claude. It gave me 200 lines and said, go figure. So unless you know coding, this is in the example of coding, I'm saying, unless you know coding, you will not be able to decipher whether it's right, wrong, what is relevant. The second important thing is even in finance. Many people talk about replacing Wall Street people with AI. Have they? Absolutely not. Even the biggest person who is talking about AI, whether it be Oracle head, whether it be any of the companies in USA which are leading, they are talking about it's not simple to replace human skill as compared to AI. And they find it simpler. As you must have heard from even AI, you need to pay for the tokens. And how much will you pay for it? Of course, there are other aspects. Now they are setting up their data centers in underdeveloped countries because of the environmental damage that it's bringing about. So AI, there's a huge hype, and my only take on that will be that once you have the domain knowledge, and then you use AI to maybe better what you're doing, and a simple course on prompt engineering will really help you to use it. It is like when computers came. They said, I think jobs are going to go. Similarly, I would only think, this is my personal belief, that AI is here to stay, but it is just a tool. And if we just use it indiscriminately, we end up with solutions which probably are not real life at all. And in the last summer, I've experimented a lot with understanding AI, what it can and cannot do. So finally, I would like to tell you that yes, domain knowledge is important, skilling up is important, how can AI enhance you is important, because all these will take you to the corporate where you can talk about what skills you have, what you can do, what you cannot do. The last is understanding in the MBA journey, creativity and networking. Most of you, when you join a corporate, have to give solutions in a team. And if till today you've not worked in a team, please start working in teams. We'll have lots of projects. Network with people. This is a fantastic way by which you can network with your friends. It helps you in the long run in many, many ways. Creativity. Again, AI has not reached that point of creativity. How do you want to set up something? How do you want to go about solving a problem? The creative solution has to come from you, and AI can enhance it. And lastly, I don't know if you've seen AI, it agrees with you all the time. It tells you that you're right. Fantastic. And it's something that we love because we want to be told that. But please remember, there are times when it is not fantastic. So with this, I will leave you. Welcome and thank you very much, Ms. Subhashri, for agreeing to come. You've been a partner for quite some time with us, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure each one of us here will definitely work towards upskilling, leveraging AI, and making this MBA journey all about creativity from our side. It is now my honor to introduce our chief guest for today, Ms. Subhashri Sriram, MD and CEO, Sriram Capital. A seasoned professional with over 3 decades of experience, including a significant tenure of 25 years with the Sriram Group's financial services business. For 15 years, she has served as the executive director and CFO of a prominent listed non-banking financial company within the group. Her expertise encompasses organizational restructuring, business process enhancement, and spearheading both equity and debt fundraising initiatives, as well as launching new ventures. She has had the advantage of working across different business functions, legal entities, and projects covering life insurance, general insurance, wealth management, stockbroking, asset management, insurance broking, and retail credit. Her financial acumen has been recognized with accolades such as Best Performing CFO by CNBC TV 18 in 2013 and the Most Influential CFO in India by CIMA in 2016. Ms. Subhashri Sriram holds a postgraduate degree in commerce and is a distinguished fellow member of both the Institute of Cost Accountants of India and the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. She also contributes her expertise as a board member across various listed and unlisted companies in diverse industries. Ma'am, we are happy to have with us here. We would like to have you on stage to address the incoming cohort of 2026-28.
Good morning, everyone. Let me give you my first anticipatory thing. This is my first experience sitting before students, standing before students. And I don't know how many of you have the fear. I'm scared. So let me confess that. This is not my, I've never done this before. Honestly, I think I can feel much better doing a negotiation with a foreign partner than standing before all of you. That's much more easy and comfortable than this. Just as you have come out of your comfort zone, today I'm trying to come out of my comfort zone. So I'm trying to do something which I've never done before. So bear with me. The idea was I was just sitting here listening to the faculty and others. I just realized that I have been so old, I'm archaic, that even before you were born, probably I was sitting in some C-suite, sitting in some boardroom. So many years. How old I am, I just realized. There is going to be a lot of generation gap, so bear with me as well. So I'm going to split this into 2 parts. One, I'm going to tell you what I have thoughtfully written and brought it to you here for your consumption. Second, I'm going to be giving you time, and I want you to be open to ask questions. I think the better way to communicate to you is to talk to you, discuss with you, rather than giving a lecturing you. But you have signed up for a course. You better listen to a lecture. I can't do anything but. You all have signed up to do, you didn't want to work, you chose to do an MBA, so you have signed up for so many years of lecturing. So your lecture starts today, here. Every single person in this room, you made a decision. And I heard that you're a choice of multiple other MBA institutions you have chosen to be in Krea. That was a very thoughtful decision. You had deliberated upon it. You made your options. You decided to be here. You could have been in many other places. You could have even chosen not to do an MBA. but you're here, this moment, and now. Isn't that so obvious? You're here. What am I talking about? You have not just chosen to do an MBA, as I said, you have chosen to uproot yourself. Move out of your comfort zone. Go out of your home ground. As I heard from your faculty that people come from northeast, east, west, north, south, all over. Maybe 20% of them are probably only from Tamil Nadu and maybe a fewer percentage from Chennai. So every one of you have moved from your comfort zone. You uprooted yourself, a new city, a room full of strangers. You have decided to be uncomfortable. You've chosen to be uncomfortable. And that means you're ready to learn. That's not a small thing. Not everyone does that. Not everyone does that. So you can pat yourself. This is a very good beginning. Like what ma'am said, when I started writing this, I too thought of AI. I'm sure you must have tired to death to listening about AI. And is it in? Is it out? Do I have a job? Do I have not? What is there for us in future? But honestly, I don't have an answer. I'm not an expert. And when I was writing this, I almost believed and still believe that you have a better answer about AI than I will have. You've been using it. You probably have used it in the last few years. You know how to use it better than I have till now. And therefore, I'm not here to talk to you about AI. But I can tell you, even whatever happens, this course should tell you how to handle that as well. This is not to tell you to fear AI, is how to manage AI. And the rest of my talk to is to tell you how to manage things rather than stop and buckle down. When I want to talk about today is something that an algorithm hasn't cracked yet. Something that has determined the success or failure of every leader, every entrepreneur, every professional I've met or read about. How to deal with people. AI does not teach you that. AI does not teach you how to deal with people. Your classroom does not teach you how to deal with people. Classroom teaches you to be a subject matter expert. Domain knowledge, what madam spoke about. You enter a room with confidence because you know what the topic is. But what you learn yourself by your own experience, how to deal with that knowledge. Knowledge can be given to you. Knowledge is being given to you in this course, but it's up to you how you consume it. The next 2 years is an important opportunity for you to learn, to develop exactly this, not just the knowledge, the domain knowledge, but how to consume it, how to use it. As an young graduate, you would have a degree. You would have learned finance, strategy, negotiations, marketing. You'll know how to read a balance sheet. You'll know beautiful presentations, PowerPoint presentations, even better with AI, business case. And that is every single B school student. Now, what differentiates you? What will separate you from the rest? It's a far less glamorous than all these BA, MBA degrees. It is an art of how to deal with people, especially to deal with people when things get hard. How do you give a difficult feedback? We talked about working as a group here, working as a cohorts. Many a times you have to discuss with people, discuss things which are unpleasant, give difficult feedback, accept difficult feedbacks. Giving difficult feedback itself is very difficult. It's not everybody is skilled at that. Even more is to accept difficult feedbacks, which is given to you. Accept it with graciousness, accept it with maturity, accept it with genuine belief that it's worth listening to, not to brush it aside. Handle conflicts. Make someone feel heard. Be empathetic. You're also getting into a position where you will have to deal with people much older to you who might have to take instructions from you. That is a learning you start today, this moment. And I was looking up to look at how many women. Can I have the women put up their hands? I just want to, because all of you in black coats, very difficult for me to find now who is the male and women here, men and women here. Oh, that's very nice. Sorry, I missed so many hands when I was looking up and lighting the lamp. Congratulations to the men as well. And for the women in this room, I can tell you as someone who's lived it, you will walk into industries, boardrooms, and conversations where the room was not built for you. Where the assumption about who leads, who speaks, and who gets taken seriously was set long before you arrived there. You're not part of the decision-making process. You're not relevant. And still, you will have to get your way through. Learning how to navigate that, how to hold your ground, how to succeed in those spaces without shrinking yourself to fit them. Mind you, I again repeat, how to succeed in those spaces without shrinking yourself to fit them. That is one of the most important things you will do in your career. There's a tendency to merge in the crowd, not to be seen. And unfortunately, as kids, we all learn how not to be seen, how not to be heard, how to be quiet, how to be gentle. But all of those skills are very good, very important. But you need to know how to moderate and deliver in a world outside your comfort of your home. I want to push back on something before we go further. These are often called soft skills. And this is what the MBA doesn't, MBA is teaching you, the soft skill. MBA is all about polishing you. There's a lot you learned in your undergrad, and MBA is polishing you with a lot more of the soft skills. I always found that label frustrating, very, very frustrating. And I've had many people come and, as a consultants come and tell me that I will train your team to be better on their soft skills. I said there's nothing soft about them. They're the hardest things you will ever try to do well. And they're almost never taught. People teach, but you don't learn by listening to them. It's only learned when you practice them. My personal story here. I learned it hard way, so unashamed, I should share this. As a student like this, just out of my campus, in the first early days of my career, in an organization which was far more conservative, probably had more men than women, and more older men and very experienced men. And here I was a young kid, and I was probably wearing armor to protect myself. Had a way of working. And within first 1 year, my boss then, it was my guru till date, he called me and said, you better improve on your communication skills. I said, what? I speak so well. I can write. My diction is good. Then I realized communication is not all of this. None of this. Not all of this, none of this. It's especially when you deal with your teams. You have a different, like when you deal with your friends and family, you have a different demo. When you deal with outsiders, you have a different demo. It's the same in workplace. When you deal with your external partners, your third-party vendors or business partners, you have a different style of work culture. And there's a different work culture within your teams. But when you join, you don't understand the difference. You don't understand how these two worked differently. I was all of my chaste English, very proud of my convent education. And when 40 years ago, so 35 years, 37 years ago, when English was not a very common workplace language, it was used only for written communication. And here I was going there and speaking in this, I was literally booed out. Just because I had the domain knowledge, the subject expert, they could not throw me out, but they tolerated me. I didn't realize that. I was insensitive to that. Is my boss who told me this, you better, edges are rough. Better calm down. A big learning till date. I started using less of English. I realized communication is not about speaking the right English, but speaking in such a way the other person absorbs it. So even if it means to mix it with local Tamil, that's my language, mother tongue, and if I could speak that, and my colleagues understand and appreciate that better, then I should be speaking that way and not stick to my way that this is the way I will speak and this is the way I will write. I did, in early days, lack patience. So I'm saying this, that these are my mistakes for you to learn from. I lacked patience. I was a perfectionist to the extent that I torture myself and torture my colleagues. I was trying to outdo myself. I was in a hurry to perform, which all of you will be there in that space. Gradually, I started my conversations without saying what I want. Started saying why I want them to be doing this. What is this work of theirs going to make a difference in the organization? It was not about what I wanted, how it mattered to them. I started listening to them. Early days, I was in a hurry. I would only just give instruction, tuck, 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 this. Today evening I wanted, I would go back to my desk. Which sometimes, I'm saying this to the MBA students, this might not happen in undergrad students. Because you come with a position of authority. You move into a position of a little bit of an authority. In your team, you will have much older people with a lower grade than you, and you come with an understanding that you're an MBA student today, and you're a little more qualified than the rest. So there is an element of authority and a demanding attitude. I moved from that, moved to a two-way communication. Most importantly, I started my conversations with not what I want, but why I'm wanting this to be done. How does this task which we are doing together, is how important it is to the organization. Everybody, my team would make them understand that it is so important. It is not a meaningless task. You're not one in the large organization, a cog in the well, but you're an important part of the task, the ultimate job to be done. From being a taskmaster, started to being accepted as part of the team. Work got done with more ease and lot less stress. Go back to, all of you know Ramayana, you are in whichever belief you are in. Ramayana is something which our televisions have made it as an Indian folklore and not a religious. Hanuman did not become indispensable because he was the strongest. He became indispensable because he was the most trusted messenger. When he first met Rama, he spoke with humility and intelligence, earning Rama's trust immediately. When he reached Lanka, he approached Sita with empathy and sensitivity. Had he spoken abruptly, she might have mistaken him for a trick of Ravana. When he stood before Ravana, he spoke fearlessly and truthfully, despite being in the enemy's court. When he returned to Rama, he did not merely say, I found Sita, which is what he wanted to hear, he did say that, but he conveyed her state of mind, her hopes, her fears, and the urgency of the situation. In your career today, people will not remember how much you knew. They will remember how clearly you communicated. how carefully you listened, and how confidently you earned their trust. You can learn a lot on your subject. You can understand finance, you can understand management philosophy, you can learn everything enough in textbooks, and probably AI will help you even better. But what you can do it yourself is what they see you and what they see you deliver. That's not just the subject matter. While I improved on communication, that one-day conversation still did not completely change my attitude. I had no time for small talk. This is almost like, looks like my confession statement, be it. But who am I here? I'm not an MBA, so I am free to confess. You might not have an opportunity to do this. I had no time for small talk, never spoke anything outside of office, nor was I interested or empathic. Took me few more years. I'm just sharing this with you. It was not one day, next day morning it is not like a movie, next day morning I come smarter and better. No, it took me years and years of learning and correcting myself. Several professional disappointments, failures, to identify the root cause and correct myself. Fortunately, just as I started practicing what took me years to learn, I reached my prime. I moved from a senior executive to a business leader. My transformation could not have been at a better time. And this is very important learning. It's like students studying in their first year, first semester, second semester. It is important to get to your prime at the right point in time. Not to burn out, to be at the best at the best event in your life. So the point which I want to convey is the learning is continuous. Figure out when you need to be ready and be ready at that point in time with all your armors with you. This is not to tell you your coursework does not matter. All that I'm telling you is learn from your mistakes. Coursework does matter. So all the faculty here, don't blame me if they're not listening to you. I am not the culprit. But think of it this way. Your degree will get you into a room. What happens once you're in that room is entirely up to you, and how do you deal with the people in it. The room is not library, it is not textbooks. There are people there. Their behavior is not like a chess game. I know exactly what move who will make. I can't watch videos of chess players and decide where the moves are, what their weaknesses are. No. Every day, every moment is unknown to me, and I need to play as it goes. Let me pause and tell a story. And for people in Tamil Nadu, our assembly is a session where stories are told. So I can't miss an opportunity not to tell you a story today. Chinna story. So if you don't know about Tamil Nadu politics and Tamil Nadu assembly, please read it. Kutti story. There's this man who falls into a manhole. He's trapped at the bottom, looking up, shouting for help. A doctor walks by. The man shouts, "Doctor, can you help me?" The doctor looks down, pulls out a prescription pad, scribbles some things, throws it down into the hole, walks away. A priest walks by. "Father, can you help me?" The priest puts his hands together, prays out a prayer, writes out a prayer, drops it down into the hole, walks away. Then a friend walks by. The man shouts, "Can you help me?" Before he can finish the sentence, the friend jumps into the hole. The man stares at his friend. "Why did you jump in? I just wanted you to help me get out." His friend says, "I've been in this hole before. I know the way out." The doctor gave him information. The priest gave him comfort, but the only person who could help him was someone who had been exactly where he was. Look, left and right of you. These are the people who are going to be with you. Think about the people sitting right next to you, right around you, all around you, right here. They are not your competition. They are not your competition. They are the people in the hole with you. They are carrying the same uncertainty, the same pressure, the same quiet moments of self-doubt that you will carry. And some of them, maybe the person sitting right next to you, will have been in a hole, you're about to fall, and they will know the way out. You don't know who that person is. Please look for that person. Keep looking for that person. Your faculty here are exceptional. Learn from them. But do not underestimate what your peers will teach you. Because there are some things you can only learn from someone standing right next to you, not above you, looking down. The altitude and attitude matters. Right next to you, figuring it out along with you. Find your people here build those relationships with same seriousness that you bring into your coursework. Because long after this coursework is forgotten, those people will remain. Many of the international B schools are sought after not for the education, but for the networking. People don't go to B school to learn subjects. They actually go to B schools for networking. Your networking starts today, this moment. Before you connect with people, before you can learn from them or help them, if you're the friend, you have to learn to actually see them. See them. I want to share something which I read long ago, something which struck me, and I brought it back again for this session. It's from a commencement address given in 2005 by an American author. This is water. I want every single one of you to read it if you have the time. It's just 1 hour, not to take long, maybe faster. If you as an AI to give you a concise of that. But it'll be most useful time you ever spend in your life. 2 young fish are swimming along. They happen to meet an older fish going the other way. The older fish nods at them and says, "Morning, boys, how's the water?" The 2 young fish swim on for a bit, and then eventually one of them looks at the other and says, "What the hell is water?" Repeat, 2 young fish swimming in the water. An older fish sees them, asks them, "How's the water?" And after a bit, they realize, what the hell is the water? That's a story. That's all. Kutti story. What is that we're learning from this? We are completely surrounded by what we stop noticing it exists. The water we swim in. People we walk past every day. The colleague sitting 2 desks away who's probably distracted, falling apart. The person across the table who's negotiating something, who has his own fears, pressures that we never think to ask about. Most of us spend most of our lives inside our own heads, not asking. If I ask, will I be seen as ignorant, dumb? Running through our anxieties, our to-do list, our own interpretation of every situation. And doing that, we walk past each other constantly and fail to see people who are right in front of us. Staying conscious to the people around you, really seeing them, really paying attention is the hardest and most important thing you will ever do. Seeing them, paying attention. The hardest and the most difficult. You can learn. But we talked about HR while we just assembled together. The most difficult task, most difficult work function is HR. Managing people is the most difficult. And which is what I was saying, that every single manager has to take the role, because it's very difficult to be done by one single person. And that's something has been my own learning. I still learn. I'm not even Can't even say I'm 20% yet, not yet pass. But you have to keep choosing to do it. You have no option. Every single day. In small, ordinary, unglamorous moments, and far easier to do something else. Be in an autopilot mode, not to look at people. The most blissful thing is to be in your own world. The most difficult thing is to sit before a person. All you learned till date, you did your studies by yourself. Today you're going to study group studies, case, joint studies. This is a different world by itself. This is water. This is water. Your real education, not the grades, not the degree. The real one begins the moment you start seeing people around you. I want to extend this to something I feel very strongly about. This is again I think it's also core to this institution. India is a country of extraordinary complexities, extraordinary inequality. You know that. But I want to offer you a different way of thinking about what MBA and do with the fact. And I'm sure all of you are going to be about campus placements, but there are a lot of things you can do. Please start today about what you're going to do after your MBA. You work till date to get into MBA, but today I'm telling you, start thinking of what you're going to do after your MBA. Don't wait for 2 more years. Today, this day, when you go back, you should think, what will I do after finishing this? You're going to finish this for sure. This is like what I talk about in, this is again something I heard Ilayaraja, musician Ilayaraja speaking about, saying that everybody who gets into engineering becomes engineer, but every student who gets into music college doesn't become a musician. You go into an MBA degree, you'll become a business graduate. But will you be a businessman? This is a concept pioneered by an Indian-born business thinker, management thinker, C.K. Praglat. I'm sure you're going to learn more about him in the future. The fortune at the bottom of the pyramid was you're doing business, studying in India, and that's an opportunity when India gives today to you. The core idea is the world's poorest people are not just the social problem to be solved by charity. They are economic agents. Entrepreneurs, producers, consumers with real needs, real capabilities. That is the bottom of the pyramid. And the most sustainable way to create change at scale that India needs so badly today at this moment is not philanthropy. It is business. Business built with people at the base of the economic pyramid. Want to stress the word, it is business built with people and not for the people. It is not a charity, but a business. And it could be a very decent, economically viable business. It's the typical win-win-win. That is what India needs today. There is an opportunity at the table, there is you on the other side, and there is availability of opportunity or business which can be done on scale. There's a profound difference between doing business in an air condition. Probably today is one day you should be in suited and booted, and please step outside. India needs a lot more people rolled sleeves, getting onto the ground. Anyway, we have hottest. So it's better that you roll down and go and sit on the ground and see what the reality is. Go and see people you have never dealt with, if you have not dealt with them till now. Listen to them. Understand their actual lives. And one is empathy as a concept. The other is empathy as a practice. Learn to practice empathy. When charity, you can do a lot of charity, but charity is a limitation. It's like to teach someone to fish rather than give them a fish. A business model built with participation of people it serves does not depend on anyone's goodwill. It depends on value creation. This is what you're all meant to be doing for the nation for which you are here right now at this moment. You do not need to be an entrepreneur for this. You don't have to put in your own capital. But you can start today in your own small way. This can be applied inside a large organization too. And I want to talk about my own, the group which I work for, Shriram. How many of you heard Shriram? Let me ask this question. Do you know the Shriram group? Name two names, if you think of Shriram name, two names which come to your mind. Any names come to your mind about Shriram? Shriram One app, okay. No, name of an individual, anybody comes to your mind? Any name? Any name? This is something, if you remember, this is exactly what I want. Shriram is an organization of a lot of people. There is one exemplary founder. If I were to talk about him, I can talk next few hours about him, so I don't want to talk about him. But there's enough literature available about him in public domain. You may read about it. But this is an organization which is run by people and not just one person. Not just one. And 20 years ago, when the insurance industry got opened up for private sector, much before you guys were born, you will never know such a time existed, like independence, before independence, after independence. We grew up in a time when if you have to take insurance policy, we only have to go to LIC. If you have to take a motor insurance, we only have some 2 motor insurance companies or 3 motor insurance companies, and they were actually one for every state, every region, north, west, east, south. Not the options today you have with 40 insurance companies, you pick and choose, your policybazaar.com, you online, you buy insurance. We grew up in an era where only one life insurance company. We have no options. And the government privatized, opened out to private sector, and the whole large industrial corporate houses applied for license, and so did Shriram 20 years ago. So every single large institution went behind the rich and wealthy. And what I often call with my colleagues, the ROE, which you will learn a lot in the next 2 years, ROE, which is return on equity, I use the word return on effort. If as people we do return on effort, the balance sheet gives you return on equity. The money works with effort. So return on effort, most institutions work on the most obvious. The larger the transaction size, quicker I reach that goal, correct? So simple, no rocket science. So the most private sector went behind the rich and wealthy, who is very happy to deal with the private sector because they get their personalized service, which LIC could not give to them because it was a government institution. Again, you see LIC today as a listed entity. We saw LIC as a government-owned institution. Here Shriram went behind the poor, for whom life insurance matters. Rich, do they need life insurance? They have enough and more backup for next 3 generations. And their absence is no one is going to be less poorer because of one person's absence in a richer, wealthier family. But just imagine the same situation for a poor middle class whose one man's livelihood is taking the family to the next level. And the absence of that, what would mean to the family? Some of you might have seen in your friends, loss of the father in the house, has probably got the child to discontinue education, or family move to a smaller space, or move them to a less impressive to the outside world. And Shriram went behind these customers, the most difficult one. More people on the ground, thousands of employees we had to take in. Mind you, today Shriram Group employs about 118,000 employees, 118,000 employees. And we had to hire people all over the country. And people are the most expensive resource, mind you. They're not cheap. People are not cheap. And we did this the hard way out. Barring a couple of years, in this 20 plus years, we've probably been making profit all through. Probably the only, not probably, it's the only life insurance company in the country which has been making profit for the longest period of time in the private sector space. And this was choosing to do the most difficult thing to do, not doing the most obvious thing to do. It's like an hare and the tortoise. We know we are building a business for the future, the most difficult way, the most sustainable way. We believe we are getting customers, we are acquiring brand ambassadors. We are not spending on our brand ambassadors. We don't have a brand ambassador. We don't have hoardings. We don't have boards. You will not see our advertisement anywhere because we have our advertisement, our brand, our customers are walking in and around us, with us. You will never see our advertisement big time. Shriram Finance advertisement might have seen, you might not have seen Shriram Life. This was executed with finesse, making the only insurance company today, the only insurance company to achieve profitability for the longest period in time. Another day, some other time, in a more private, closed-door discussion, we can probably talk about the managing businesses in a very regulated environment. I'm not asking all of you to dedicate your careers to charity, so don't get worried. You're going to get high-paid jobs. I'm not here to tell you to become a Gandhian. Asking you to keep it somewhere in your mind as you learn, as the country needs people for whom this matters. In your own small way, you can make a lot of difference. Let me come back to this room. There's something specific about where you're right now, this moment where you're a student. This is a laboratory. For the next 2 years, you're going to be in an environment that is uniquely designed for experimentation. You have a cohort of people who are all in the same position as you. You have faculty who want you to try things and get things wrong. You have projects, you have presentations, you have internships, group work, dozens of situations where you will have to communicate, lead, follow, disagree, persuade, and most importantly, compromise. And the crucial thing, the cost of getting it wrong. Is it low or high, the cost of getting this wrong here? The cost is low here. You're not going to be penalized. You're not going to be penalized. No, there are no consequences of what you now make in this 2 years, the mistakes you make. There are no major challenges. If you try a style of communication that doesn't work, you learn from it. Try another. If you take on a leadership role in a group and discover you weren't ready for it, figure out what works for you. If you have a difficult conversation that has gone badly, get another chance, there's another day. When you enter your career, the margin for error shrinks. This 2 years, enjoy it, learn it. The stakes become real. There are clients, there are teams, there are reputations, and money at stake. The laboratory closes. So use it while you have it. As I entered this premises, I was only wondering, can I roll back, go back 30, 40 years back, and can I get back to this life, the carefree life? I can make mistakes. I don't have to go to bed with worry about the next day, what will happen, and what the stakes are, how high those stakes are. Try things that make you uncomfortable today. Put your hand up for the presentation even if you thought you're not ready for it. Take the lead on a project before you feel ready. You can't do that in work. Have the difficult conversation. Find out what kind of communicator you are. Find out where you shut down, and where you light up. handle pressure, ambiguity, and conflict. Because these are real-time experience you're going to see sooner than later. Pressure, ambiguity, and conflict. They are going to be your 3 words you will see the rest of your life. Learn it today, this moment. I learned the art of communication early in my career from the very bad mistakes I made. I can't say I learned, I'm still learning. There's a long way to go. I'll retire and continue to keep learning. But that skill helped me move from accounts to finance, stop seeing ledgers, debits and credits, left the comfort of the office, moved to sales. Now you might wonder, how can finance be sales? Right? You all have sales and you have finance. You learn marketing, sales and marketing, and you learn finance. And you believe finance is sitting in the comfort of the room, and the marketing and sales is going to on the ground. Let me debuff this. You know, the best salesman, who are the best salesman? Is an entrepreneur who's selling an idea. He doesn't have anything. He's got an idea, and he's got to make people believe in his ideas, people to join him in his mission, a dream. And I always say the next best salesman, because that's I am, that is what I am, is a person who's trying to take money from people, not offering a product or a service in return. To take money out of your pocket without giving you anything in return at that moment, tell me how difficult that would be. Because in a sales, you do a transaction which is a barter. For money, I give you a product. I give you service. In a finance or treasury or fundraise, you give money and take money. And that's the hope I give when I do fundraise. So the best salesperson is to sell the company, not sell the business. I sell the idea of the business when I raise. So I moved from accounts to finance, then moved to the general management. In this 35 plus years, and I said almost 25 plus 30 years, I've been in managing, raising money, both debt and equity. If I have 10 successes, which is all before you, I have 1,000 failures, which is not before you. The attempts which I've made, which I didn't succeed. The deals which I could not close. Attempts which I made, which aborted in between. But every time I can tell you with absolute honesty, I did not make the same mistake again. Every time I made a new mistake. But the important is to keep making mistakes and learning from the mistakes. But obviously, in your real time, the scales of those mistakes should be small, which you are able to correct it and get back to the right way. It can't be a deep fall. Efforts are my strength. How many would you even believe if I tell you today, till I entered college, I must be speaking to you for the last 15 minutes now. Would you believe if I tell you that till I was in college, entering college, I couldn't finish a word, speak a word properly. I was stammering. I would never stand before, forget standing on the stage, I would never stand next to a friend to talk. I was probably hidden only in the library and never outside. Never probably made friends because I couldn't speak. I had so severe stammering that I could not finish a word, leave alone finish a sentence. All that I learned is to improve my vocabulary and get more words so that if I can't speak this, I'll go to the next. Effort was my strength. Never say die was my attitude. Failure is not an option. Thankfully, many things I learned early. These things came to me very early in life. The mistakes came to me very early in life. As I said, you have to prime at the right point in time. Make the mistakes today. As many mistakes as today. The fall is not hard. today made me what I am today, standing before you. Before Narayan Murthy built Infosys, he started a company called Softronics. It failed. The market was not ready, customers were scarce, and he had to shut it down. Lesser people would have treated that as a verdict on their abilities. Murthy treated it as a tuition fees. He learned about timing, customers, capital, and leadership. When Infosys was born a few years later, it was built on lessons paid for by that earlier failure. That is why failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is often the workshop in which success is manufactured. Risk-taking, learning from your mistakes, continuing from there on without missing a step is what differentiates between a winner and a loser. The goal is not to live here as a finished product. Nobody leaves an MBA as a finished product. Goal is to live here knowing yourself better than when you arrived today. End of 2 years, you should know yourself better. To walk out with a clearer sense of where you are strong and where you have work to do and continue with the learning. This is not an end. This is just the beginning. That's what the topic, that's your title. But the end is not 2028 till your last day in your life. I want to end this. Everything I talked today, your peers, your awareness, your communities around you, the experiments you will run, all of it will only work if you make a choice. The choice is to show up for the people around you, not just when it's easy, but when the friend that in that story showed up, jumping into the hole, without hesitation because it mattered. This is not a competition. The more you invest in the person sitting next to you, the more you both grow. The entire 2-year course is all about working together. You do not succeed here alone, and this learning tells you what workplace is. No company, I said Shriram is not one individual or one name which doesn't come in the mind. So Shriram is built by people, the customers, the employees, the partners. It is not by one single person. You do not succeed alone. You do not succeed in your career alone, and nobody does. Today, what I am here is all that I said about myself, but if I did not have my boss who gave me that opportunity, my colleague who supported me, my partners who gave me a thumbs up when I needed it, I would not be here what I am. People who get the most out of these 2 years are never the ones who protect their advantage, but the ones who share it. Do not look at the next 2 years as a series of exams to pass, grades to achieve. Look at it as the most concentrated, most supported, most forgiving opportunity you'll ever have to learn who you are as a professional, as a colleague, as a human being. The real education has almost nothing to do with knowledge. It has everything to do with awareness. And you will have to keep reminding yourself of that. Nobody's going to help you that. This is water. You're right now in the water. Where is the hell the water is? You're right now in the water. Congratulations for making it here, bearing with me for the last 20, 25 minutes. What it took for each one of you individually to get to this room is something only you fully understand. No one knows what has gone into it to be here today in this room, this moment. You had multiple options. You chose to be here. Carry that with you. Wish you more than luck. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this incredibly insightful words. This chosen MBA journey for each one of us is sure to transform us as a person and our interactions with the people around us, to keep learning from our mistakes and to keep soft skills at the center of our learning and development. We will now open for a brief Q&A session. Anyone who has a question, please raise your hand and we'll bring the mic to you.
Hello. Hi, ma'am. Tejas here. In the beginning of the speech, hi, ma'am, here. In the beginning of the speech, you mentioned that before entering, you were specifying to women's
No problem, I can see you. Go ahead.
that for women's that before entering to a room, it is decided that whom they have to listen and whom they have to not. How I am assuming that it might have happened to you as well, and if it has happened to you, how did you deal with that? And how, if it happens to us, how we should deal with that?
Okay. I can't tell you how you should deal with. That is something which you will have to figure out at that moment. But there are multiple ways people deal with, and there is no right or wrong way. So I can only tell you what I did. And that may not be at that moment it worked. There are times it hasn't worked either, and I've learned. So in my early days, I can tell you one incident which could be today I can laugh about it, but I could not at that point in time, but I came out of it. Not too early in my career. Fairly, I was maybe 7-8 years in job by then, or even maybe 10 years. I was in I was in an off-site program where I had, we were traveling abroad for a event, and there's a bus full of men, and I was the only woman there. That's something which I have even till date go through, probably the only women in many rooms. And I had the question which then probably will not be asked today, hopefully it will not ask me today. But 30 years ago, the first question when they look at me is, whose secretary are you? They don't believe that I can be a professional and be on my own position, and I don't have to be someone's secretary. I want to tell him, whose secretary are you? If you can believe that you can be a manager, why would you not believe a woman can be a manager? So what could be my reaction? But very early, I only will sympathize their own intelligence. There's a first moment is getting angry. The second, I realize, poor thing, they don't know. They have not seen the world. They will see it. Maybe their daughter will teach them, or the wife will teach them, if and when. But I'm not here to teach the world. I'm not here to correct the world. So the minute is to take a championing and fighting the world. No, that's not my world. My actions will speak much louder. So I haven't, I don't think I ever retorted back giving an answer, or I proved the point then and there. But 99% of the time I've delivered a lot more to make sure that I am rightfully claimed that position which I'm holding. So male or female. So first let me tell you this. Today I think gender questions a little still there. I can't say it has gone off completely, but still there. Far less than what it was 35 years ago. Not as significant. But even it could be a problem for you, for a male there, because there will be a senior, much older person with more experience. And it's going to be, why the hell are you here? Why would you say, why the hell are the women here? Why the hell are you guys here? What gives you the right to be in this job just because you did an MBA from some fancy institution? I have had more experience than you. So you're going to have that situation. The man in this room is going to face the same question. So the only way is not to beat your chest and say, hey, I'm here because I've done something well in my life, but your work can speak much louder. Quietly perform, results do show up. Again, for the young pumping blood here, patience is very important. Patience is important, but I can tell you with utmost confidence that if you deliver, in what you are, and you're committed, you're honest to your work. Obviously, it goes without saying you're a subject matter expert, your domain knowledge is well above the rest of the crowd. I can't say the best, because you're better than the rest. Then you have a position there. And never take it to your, I think again a DNA which MBA teaches you. Nothing should go beyond your skin. If these things, you should rub it off and move on. Never hold it, because they are not worth fighting. Because not just male, women, there are going to be times when even in a negotiation table, there are people who are going to make snide remarks. It may not be about a gender, it could be about your organization. They can do this to distract you. They can do this to get you emotionally sort of lose control of yourself, because they can make some statement like that. When everything which comes to you across, you can't be batting. Just pass. This is not the ball I'm going to bat. Allow it to pass. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I loved your speech about how you included the values in recruitment. What I want to know was, since you have seen an entire 30 years of corporate experience, if I have seen many of my peers who just jump companies frequently. So if you want to choose between two people who are one with extreme knowledge but mediocre trustworthiness, and one with extreme trustworthiness but mediocre knowledge, what would you choose?
See, there is no right answer, depending on the job which you're looking for. See, the typical answer is, I will choose somebody who is more trustworthy. Okay? That's a typical answer you expect, because we value trust more than intelligence, and that's a mindset game. But there are jobs, I can handle the trust deficiency better way. I might need the intelligence. So I'm not saying the best way to please equip yourself with the best intelligence and best trust, not the either or. So there are things which I have opted for, and more intelligence or more expertise. The trust deficiency may have been, and the trust deficiency need not be ethical. It could be many other way. But there's a level which we can handle that. We have a tolerance level for that as well. And we understand trust is a situational decision. What works right to you may not be right for someone else. So it's a situational decision. And at that point in time, the tolerance level I decide. What is okay for the institution at that point in time.
Just one extra question, like when you
No, sorry, you asked this question about jumping jobs and thing. They're not correlated first. So don't make the sense that just because somebody is changing jobs, I don't trust that person. Just because someone stayed the job for a long time, I trust that person. Today's world, it's much different than 30 years ago. Some of us, 30 years ago, the Indian economy the job opportunities were different, the scale of business were different, and what happened to it if your father or somebody in your family tells you that I worked for same company for 30 years, 40 years, and therefore you guys are not, I think you know the answer. India is 40 years ahead. So we operate in today's India, not a 40-year-old India, 40-year ago India.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
A very good morning, ma'am. My name is Udansh. My question is that we have been hearing that we need to build a network in this 2 years of MBA. So what would be your advice to build a network which is not just going to be vast but will also sustain in the future?
So before I get to the network about sustainability, I also would suggest, it's a very, for the women in this group also I'll say, because there's something which a lot of questions people ask about why women are not in the top positions. I always say because women are not there, enough women are not in the middle position. Isn't it so obvious? One doesn't go from bottom to top straight. There is the pipeline needs to be there. And many a times the pipeline, there is a breakdown in the middle position. So for your networking or connections built, first try to build friends with people who are not like you. The tendency is to go around and search for friends who look like you, behave like you, who come from a similar background like you. You have a lot of similarities. Is a tendency you go. I would say consciously, please look for people to partner with who are exactly opposite to you. That's when you learn. So it could be from their economic background, they could be the family background, it could be geographical background, it could be their education background. Any differences, please search for those differences and appreciate it and start networking with them. And networking, relationship is all about respect. So the biggest requirement to continue relationship beyond your course of your lifetime when you respect people. And there's honest respect, not superficial respect. And for the women here, which I started saying, there's a tendency, while you will do your course group together, you will work as group of men and women, but as friends you try in cohorts of women, which is fair in your college days. But when you go to work, very often I see that tendency continues. If you want to go into a room, you will see another woman, you go and jump into that conversation. You will shy away from a conversation where men are discussing. It is almost like what the behavior pattern at home is. Women will go into one room and men will go to one room, and in workplace also we tend to do that. Unfortunately, that rule is not played in workplace. So for the women here, if you are in a workplace, be confident enough to walk and hold a conversation and not search for another woman to hold this conversation for you. Keep this in your mind somewhere. Tick it whenever it's required. Good. Thank you all. All the very best again. Best wishes to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering all our questions. As a token of gratitude and appreciation, we request our Dean, Professor Lakshmi Kumar, to felicitate our chief guest, Ms. Subhashri Sriram.
We now invite the Director of Education and Student Experience, Ms. Amanjeet Kaur Ahuja, a higher education professional with immense work experience across critical university functions such as student affairs, disability and learning support, residence life, university admissions, academic bridge programs, and many more to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very honored to extend the vote of thanks for the inaugural orientation ceremony of Prarambh 2026. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Ms. Subhashri Sriram. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out the time to be here. Your address resonated with many of us, especially about your reflections from your personal and professional journey, and of course, the importance of learning from our mistakes, practicing empathy, and how it is important to learn how to deal with people, especially in hard times. I would also like to thank Professor Lakshmi and Professor Satya for, of course, their constant guidance, support, and leadership, and all the guidance that they have provided to the teams that have worked together towards putting the entire orientation program. Special word of thanks to all the faculty members who are here. And I know that our students are in very good hands for the next 2 years. Your commitment and your mentorship is, of course, what makes us different from other institutions. It's truly wonderful to see this hall with such fresh, hopeful, and eager faces. And I know that this is a result of your own hard work, but also a result of other people's efforts who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes. And I would like to therefore sincerely thank all the hard work and effort of the IFMR GSB admissions team, led by our admissions chair, Professor Shaumya Pal, Kaushal's team. Please give them a huge round of applause. They all tirelessly work, of course, behind the scenes, making sure you all apply, get your offers, address each and every query. And of course, our Genesis team, the student wing of the admissions team, and I know how patient they have been in answering each and every question, concern that you all have. And I know that our students know that they are here in good hands, the kind of peer support and mentorship they have received already from their seniors. My heartfelt thanks also goes to all the professional services team that have put together this entire program, Office of Student Life, MBA program office, operations, communications, safety and security, dining, media lab, IT, the support staff, and everyone else who has contributed in small and big ways. Events like this are never a one person's job. They always happen when multiple teams and offices come together. And to the incoming batch, a very warm welcome again to the IFMR GSB family. I know that you are entering university space in very, very difficult times. We have a war going on, there's economic crisis, and of course, whenever you all open your social media, you are haunted by the specter of AI as to how it's going to take your jobs, make you all obsolete. But of course, our chief guest and Professor Lakshmi have talked about it. But I'm also going to say this, that AI can give you information, but it cannot care. It can give you ideas, but it cannot take the ethical responsibility of those ideas or dealing with the consequences that come from implementing those ideas. So if you ever use AI to plagiarize, you will of course deal with those consequences yourself. AI can give us outputs, but it cannot give us a sense of purpose. It cannot give us a sense of belonging, and it cannot give us a sense of community. And actually in the next 2 years, that's what our hope is for you all from IFMR GSB, that these 2 years of your MBA experience give you all a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging, and a sense of community, of being associated with IFMR GSB, not during just your MBA years, but also a decade from now when you become alumni and come back to the university. So we've put a long program for you for workshops and academic prep program that will start, and I hope you all will engage with it because a lot of work of the Prarambh Organizing Committee and faculty members has gone behind it. And with this we come to the end of Prarambh inaugural ceremony. Thank you all for being here and taking out the time to being here. We can now proceed to have high tea in the atrium. Thank you so much.
We request the students to kindly remain seated until the dignitaries leave the venue.